Hey there, it's the Machine of Nonsense, episode 26. How's it going out there? I'm your host, Eric, joined as always with Kayla. And we've got Mike on the pod today.
Yes, you do.
Yes, we do. So, I teased this in our last episode. We are doing our What to Look Forward to in May episode. So that's what we're doing today. We're talking about all the cool stuff that's coming out in May. We're really excited. This is a pretty crazy month for everything we love. So that's what we're going to be checking out here. But before we get to that, let's go around the room. Start us off, Kayla. What you been up to?
Well, since the last time we talked about Prey. Okay, so since then, we've played Mortal Kombat 9, beat that, and moved on to Mortal Kombat 10. And then just more Modern Family. That's pretty much it. Started a new book.
Cool. You both were playing MK on it, like trading off, or
I've not played, to be honest.
okay. I was wondering how you felt, like how it plays as a fighting game. I think the Mortal Kombat games are a better type thing, cutscenes, than a fighting game.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. I mean I definitely prefer Tekken, and probably Street Fighter. I don't know, but
Streets ahead is what I say.
yeah, I haven't played a Street Fighter in a while, and like Street Fighter 2 is like my go-to, Street Fighter.
I should try, but like Eric's playing the story mode, and then he plays the beginning, and then by the time I'm like, okay, I'll play, he's like fighting Goro, and I'm like,
Right,
I'll
you
wait,
can't
it's
just jump
okay.
in at that.
I'm not gonna jump into the story, but we should just play a battle.
Yeah, it was challenging. I had to go down in difficulty in for the last fight, Shao Kahn in 9, and then 10's kind of kicking my ass a little bit too, from time to time. So
I like watching 10 better. It's prettier for one, and they
Yep.
you get to use stuff in the background. Like if there's a branch nearby, you can grab it and whack the person with it, or like jump off stuff, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tried to do some stuff like that in the PS2 era, I feel, of MK games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. But what you been doing? What other you snap? Lots of snapping, right?
Yeah, quite a bit of that. Lots of snap. Got my vaccine yesterday. I believe you got yours today, right, Eric? Yeah, and I've been
got that. Yeah.
Tried this. There's like this tablet game my girlfriend's son likes to play. It's called Friday Night Funkin', and it's like a DDR but with your hands. And he's like, "Man, I can't beat this like boss or whatever." And I did it, and like my arm felt like it wanted to explode, like because it's sore from the shot. And like, oh man, this is because it got intense. The amount of button presses you have to do.
You just have to like follow a square grid that lights up.
It's just like like the arrows fall, and you just gotta like type in which arrow, at the right time. It's just like DDR, but with your fingers.
I'd be so bad at that. Oh, nice. Friday Night
Funkin'? Funkin', like funk.
Oh, okay. It's like that doesn't sound like good for kids. I don't know. Good stuff. We also checked out The Bad Batch, which premiered yesterday. We're recording this the Wednesday after on Cinco de Mayo. So it premiered Tuesday the 4th, May the 4th. Pretty cool. Kicks off, action packed. It was pretty long, over an hour episode premiere. I don't think the episodes are going to be as long, but
right.
Yeah, get you right back into that. If you liked Clone Wars, you'll like Bad Batch, I think, and I think we will.
Yeah, it's a direct part of it. In the pre-show, Mike had asked me that. What was your
Yeah,
question?
if you could just jump into it or not, having not watched like Clone Wars or any of that.
I think it would still be entertaining, but you would just miss so much. Like one of the people in the Bad Batch is like straight up in like multiple episodes. He's a main character in the Clone Wars. Echo.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine they're gonna rehash some things from Clone Wars, so it definitely would help to know, but I don't think it'll be like required.
No, because it takes place after. It's like directly you see Order 66 in like the last episode of Clone Wars, and then you see it here again.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Does it look just as? Is that what Clone Wars looks like? Bad
Yeah.
Batch. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like
Rebels-
that style.
Rebels is a little different.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Just from the maybe I watched like 2 minutes of Bad Batch, like right before the podcast started.
I love
and-
the way it looks.
Okay, it just maybe it's something you just got to get used to. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the beginnings. They always do that like recap.
Okay.
Is that Dave Fillion that actually does it? Did we say?
Dave Filoni, I don't know who
Can't
does the
remember who
recap.
the,
It could
like,
be. Yeah, I don't
announcer
know.
dude- The announcer dude is like somebody.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They always start the Clone Wars episodes, and the first Bad Batch started with they do a recap of like what's going on
Sure.
in the universe and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, the animation I like it, but it definitely can be kind of like if you're expecting a certain like a character model or something, like you gotta like, oh, that's what Anakin looks like in this like animation or whatever. Or that's what Darth
Kinda looks
Vader,
like Modak.
or or whatever.
Got a
So
square ass head.
yeah, it's very very like distinct, I guess, character styles and stuff.
I finished Invincible as well, and I don't know if that's a show I like the look of either. It has like a comic booky like
Like
colors striking out at you look, but I don't know if I liked it.
yeah, like retro comic book, like
Yeah.
classic comic book.
What did
Yeah.
you think about the show though? Like overall?
It's good. Solid. Great cast. Excellent.
Mm.
Fantastic. I think every character in that show is voiced by somebody. It's weird. Just someone could have like 2 lines and like, that sounds like, it is. Wow, that's Seth Rogen who's 45 seconds of this thing. So
yeah.
it's
check
good.
that one
I
out.
recommend it.
Yeah, gotta check it out. I've been seeing like what I'm sure are spoilers, like memes and stuff of it a lot, and I just like scroll past because I'm like, I don't get the reference, but I feel like I'll start watching it, and then I'll be like, I got what that is, and now I'm spoiled.
Cool,
It sucks.
They do a fun thing with the title cards. It's probably my favorite part of the show. A lot of shows doing cool stuff with.
Yeah, I like stuff like that.
Awesome. So that's Invincible, Pokemon Snap, Bad Batch, lots of stuff, and lots of upcoming stuff. So the first thing, Marvel announced the slate of movies. We had
they did.
some confirmed dates already, and they've kind of laid it all out into 2023. So we got quite a bit. So we already knew Black Widow was coming July 9th. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, September 3rd of this year. Eternals, November 5th of this year. Spider-Man No Way Home, December 17th of this year. So going into next year and the following year, we have some titles we didn't know and some dates we didn't know. Cool little presentation that they did. It opened with Stan Lee, a little bit of some kind of saying, I guess, that he, like a little.
It was like an interview question.
Yeah, it was really nice, really touching, and they showed.
I think they've used that in some stuff before. It's good.
Oh yeah, no, that was the first time, and super touching, especially like imposed on the. They showed the Avengers Endgame scene, the footage inside of the theater where everyone, goes crazy. Just those two things together, real emotional.
I watch that'll pop up on my Twitter feed every now and then, like audience reacts to like App getting the hammer and stuff. I'll watch it every time. It's great. It's just hearing people just lose their minds. something they had to wait 10 years for, basically.
The weirdest thing was I remember seeing that movie in the theater and everything else, and
I was with you.
yeah, and I don't remember being all that like touched by that. I was just like, I was more.
Oh man, that's crazy.
I remember like the portals opening up and all that. Like, this is great. All right, they're coming back, but the Cap Hammer thing just didn't do it for me. I don't know. Whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite MCU moment.
Yeah, I might
Yeah,
be
it's
the
up
one
there for
person
sure.
in the world like that
Maybe so.
didn't. But we got to see that, and now we get into 2022 and into 2023 with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, March 25th of next year. Thor: Love and Thunder, May 6th of 2022. We got a title for Black Panther 2. It's Black Panther Wakanda Forever on July 8th, 2022. Captain Marvel 2 is now called The Marvels, November 11th, 2022. Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I guess this would be the third Ant-Man movie, is called Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, February 17th. Yeah, it's fun. February 17th of 2023. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th, 2023. And near the end, after that announcement, we got a little teaser image of the Fantastic Four logo. We didn't get a date or anything, but we got a little teaser image. What'd you guys think of the presentation, of the titles? I mean, Quantumania kind of stands out.
I mean, right? It's just say Paul Rudd, Quantumania. I'm in. Sounds
Just
good.
looking at the titles, it's like, all right, they're getting into some comic shit here. Like, there's no more like, Winter Soldier. It's like we're getting into some wild stuff, like Multiverse of Madness and Quantumania. It's fun. It's cool to see it. Love and Thunder.
Yeah, they're gonna. Hopefully, they can. We've been wanting them to get weird with stuff. They've got a little bit. WandaVision touched on some stuff, but didn't go all the way. So yeah, hopefully they keep it going. Do we think so? Fantastic Four. Do we think we get that in 2023? Then we've got a lot. From May 5th, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. A lot of people have been really hyper for X-Men joining and stuff, and now that seems even further off. I've always felt it would be anyway.
Yeah, they got way much to plot and plan for that. You don't want to rush it.
Yeah, Kayla, did you see any of those Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies with like Jessica Alba and stuff? Any of those older ones?
I did see them.
What'd you think of those?
They're not memorable as much.
Yeah.
It was Chris Evans in that?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Human Torch, Michael Chiklis.
Right. I saw one of those. There were two, right?
Yeah, Rise of the Silver
was
Surfer
like the second one.
was the second one.
Yeah.
Which I
didn't.
Silver Surfer's fucking cool. So if we can get some Silver Surfer in the MCU, I'd be fine with that. And people love Doctor Doom. I don't know a lot about him, but he's supposed to be just like top MCU villain, or not MCU but Marvel comic villain, like of all time kind of thing.
Yeah, I know so little about him that I've just always assumed he's just a dude in a mask, but real smart. He's a doctor, right?
Sure he is.
I think it's better to not know too much. I mean, I always enjoy the read. Thanos was. Shit, I didn't know who the Guardians were. They're the best.
Yeah, I knew them from like Marvel vs. Capcom, basically, and turned out great.
Yeah.
Man, looking at that calendar though, got some great May ones on there. I'm a May birthday, so got a Thor movie and a Guardians movie to look forward to around my birthday. So
yeah,
super. If there was one on here you had to get rid of one of them, what would you get rid of those list of movies?
It's a good question. I guess I would say the Marvels. I don't know what to do with Captain Marvel. I mentioned it on I think several of our previous podcast. Just
Yeah.
it's tough. It's the Pavel thing. Captain Marvel just seems way, just overpowered. OP, as they say on the internet. So.
We're gonna get Maria Rambeau. That's her name, right? From
Monica.
Wanda.
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau, sorry. And Kamala Khan, I believe, is Miss Marvel as well. So we're gonna get that trio and see.
Oh, is that the idea behind it?
The Marvels, yeah.
Didn't put it together whatsoever. I just was like, oh yeah, that's another Captain Marvel movie.
She's getting kind of short shrift in a way with not being Captain Marvel, being an ensemble kind of thing now, a trio.
Yeah, it's a little.
How Brie Larson feels.
I thought she was good. I thought that first movie, I wish they had played up the 90s a little more. That was my biggest thing. I enjoyed it, but like it's set in the 90s, played up, really, really do everything.
I thought they did.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't resonate with me, especially I'm like a 90s kid. I love 90s stuff.
There's like a whole payphone scene, isn't there?
There's a couple things. I think she wears like a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt and stuff, but
yeah, there's a lot of needle drops in there that are like, I'm just a girl in there. I remember that fight scene at the end. There's some stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Kayla? What are you erasing from this list if you had to?
I'm probably gonna say Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, because that is something that I know absolutely nothing about. Like, I'm already attached to everything else, and the Eternals it's between those two, but the Eternals I at least now know Chloe, so I'll watch it.
Gotcha.
Right.
That I was shocked to learn how often the Ten Rings thing has been teased in some of these movies.
Really?
It's been in a bunch. Yeah, pretty much every Iron Man movie. Forget there's like a short film, I guess, that I have never seen that has something to do with this Ten Ring. It's like a crime syndicate, a big, huge.
Yeah, I think going back as far as like the first Iron Man, like when they're making demands or whatever, there's like a video where he's like in chains and they're making demands. There's like the 10 rings in the background or something.
Banner in the back.
Yeah, it's weird. Stuff.
You see there's like little henchmen. You'll see random henchmen, I guess, that just have the tattoo on their wrist in some of the movies.
I don't want to get rid of any of it, but.
I just thought it was fun. It would be, and I'm sorry, Kayla, it would be Ant-Man and the Wasp. I still think that second Ant-Man movie is one of the weaker, if not the weakest, Marvel movies for me. Man, I'm just looking at like we get a Spider-Man movie soon, and then it's just like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, boom, like
Black Panther.
I'm excited. That one I'm most curious about. Ryan Coogler's the director's gone on and saying like they found a way to respect Chadwick Boseman's, they're not going to like recast him or anything. It's going to be a way of honoring him throughout this movie, and here to see how they pull that off. I don't know how they're going to explain not having T'Challa in the mix. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one?
Tough thing to do. Yeah, I think that's going to be tightrope to walk. Yeah.
As long as they don't kill him and then bring his ass back to life to be through the whole movie again, like they did it with Princess Leia in Star Wars, that shit pisses me off so much. But
I don't think they're going to do that.
Oh my god, that's the worst idea. But I mean, Siri is his sister's name, right?
Suri or Shuri? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she seems like the.
That's who I would lean towards.
Next in line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she was great. She was super charming in like her scenes in Infinity War and in the first Black Panther and stuff. So I'd be fine with that, or something like that. Shoot, they shouldn't have killed Michael B. Jordan in the first one. He'd make a wonderful Black Panther, honestly.
He's evil. He's a bad person.
He was a really good villain. Yeah. 6 years between Guardians movies. You guys believe that?
That's crazy.
That's wild to think. Holy smokes.
I wonder how much time actually takes place between the events. I'll be curious to see that.
Yeah. I'm glad to have James Gunn back making it as long as he needs.
Yeah, that'll be great. Those are kind of my favorites in the aside from Avengers. I think I like the Guardians movies. So
Are you guys shocked to not see a movie that is titled Avengers on this?
that,
Will we see another Avengers?
that's wow. Did not think of that at all. They got to use that. I mean, just from a practical standpoint or a business standpoint, you can't just throw away that title.
Avengers vs. X-Men, baby.
Oh boy.
Excited.
Sure. I'm here for it. Yeah, that's fine. And the Fantastic Four are the referees, right? Something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they matter.
Yeah, they probably will do it again. They stop at May 2023, so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a whiteboard in every room of Kevin Feige's house that has like till 2030 or
God.
something. Like,
Just whiteboards everywhere, just tripping over whiteboards.
he's brushing his teeth, changing dates around.
Accidentally wipe something off. Well, I guess we're not making a fourth Ant-Man, huh? Just
Yeah, right.
should have used permanent marker on that, huh? Oh boy. So let's get into May, right? We got so much coming in May. It's already May 5th when we're recording this. This will hit on May 7th. So Star Wars Bad Batch, like I mentioned, that kind of kicked off our May on the 4th. But when this episode hits on the 7th, got one fairly interesting thing, maybe interesting just to me, and one super interesting thing. So I'll start off with the fairly interesting thing. So Guy Ritchie's new movie, Wrath of Man, starring Jason Statham. Just checked out the trailer again right before this episode, and it's hyper violent. It's a little more violent than your typical Guy Ritchie movie, and he makes movies about gangsters. Did you check it out at all, Mike?
I saw it popping up on Twitter. I had no idea it was Guy Ritchie. It's cool to see the two of them, Jason Statham and him, reunite. It's probably the first time since Snatch.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if he was in that Robin Hood, right? There was a Robin Hood that recently, or King Arthur.
Yeah.
King Arthur, maybe it was. Whatever.
Maybe. I'm not a Guy Ritchie expert, but yeah, this one kind of just looked like another kind of just action flick. Guy against the world kind of thing. What is it?
The
Is it
Wrath
that?
of Man.
Or is it more to it?
So it's
man.
pretty interesting. At first, it seems like it's a heist movie. It's armored cars. So armored car heist kind of it's heat. It feels like it's heat. But you come to find out that Jason Statham, and you get this just from the trailer. He's in the trailer as a armored car driver, but he's doing that as a front for something else. He's in deep. He's an assassin. He's part of the mob. He's something.
He's the man who has a wrath. He's very taken Liam Neeson-y about it.
It's kind of got vibes of History of Violence, if you've seen that or anything else like that. Where Viggo Mortensen seems to be just maybe just a normal guy. Maybe Jason Statham's just a normal, guy, but he's not. He's not.
Nobody recently with.
Sure. Yeah, but it looked hyper violent, super violent, and what I go to Guy Ritchie movies for is typically the really good dialogue. He's got the British Tarantino thing going on. This did not really look like that. This just kind of looked like a straight up action movie. But love a good heist movie, love a good gangster movie. So,
Cool. You definitely piqued my interest more than Twitter did, so that's awesome. That's only in theaters.
Yeah,
huh?
unfortunately. Yeah.
Right away, I told Eric how many bullets were fired in that trailer? It was
really? Wow.
Just flying the whole trailer.
He shoots Post Malone several times, so
Spoiler.
Yeah, Posty's in the trailer. But on May 7th, So the real fun this Friday,
Yeah.
Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 8, what have you, coming to all platforms. I think this is maybe out of everything on this entire May list, could be the thing that we're most excited for, right? I mean, overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, reviews are hitting today, and it seems pretty positive, like overall. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, I saw
It
some
looks like
high reviews.
yeah, I think it's on Metacritic. It's like at 84 right now. Um, People complaining that it's maybe not scary enough, which is fine with me. I don't really need it to be extremely scary. I just want it to be fun. I just want it to be Resident Evil 4 again. And I've heard some stuff that it's close to that, and I'm super excited. Going to be playing it Friday for sure.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about, and I think off pod we talked about it a little bit. They've said that like Lady Dimitrescu, the big tall vampire lady,
Yeah.
will like chase you at points in the game. I hope that is done sparingly. Like in games like Resident
Yeah.
Evil 7, it's done sparingly. You get like the Dad Baker, Jack Baker, I think his name is, or whatever. In he has there's scenes where you have to get away from him and stuff, but it's just at the beginning, and then they don't rehash that. In the remakes of 2 and 3 that dropped most recently,
Yeah.
you had Mr. X and you had Nemesis, who were just a constant like nuisance. So that can take me out of a Resident Evil game real quick. So knocking on wood on that. But
Yeah, it was done really well in 7. It was kind of used sparingly, and I hope since this is first person again as well that they'll use that same mindset, I guess.
yeah, one can only hope. It looks beautiful. I mean, I've seen it just running on like a PS4, and it looks really good.
Okay.
But it's also coming to everything else PC, and probably will be like up-resed for the current platforms, PS5, Series X, and
Yeah, it seems like Series X is, if you're on console, the place to play it.
well, we'll see. Maybe that's where I'll play it. But Resident Evil Village, we're super excited. That's May 7th. I added. I don't know if this is on your script, Mike. It's probably not. I added because I forgot about Castlevania Season 4, the final season.
Oh yes.
On the 13th. That's going to be May 13th. They're wrapping up the Castlevania series. Released a super sweet trailer.
I changed my answer to Castlevania as my thing. You just made me really happy because I forgot that Castlevania was coming out. So yeah, that's gonna be great. I watched the trailer for it, and yeah, give me more Alucard for sure.
Yeah, I want to tell people that I have no background in Castlevania whatsoever. Never played a Castlevania game. Really don't know the lore aside from it's Dracula or whatever. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this show. It's also kind of an anime. I mean, it's an animated show, and it's done in a Japanese animation style, at least. But which that's two things that I'm not really into. But
Right.
Love it. Love the show. It's great.
Yeah, it's probably the best game adaptation I could think of. Witcher might be in the mix too, but such a good show. Great, just great.
Yeah, it's not for kids. So if anyone when I said it's animated, don't watch it with your kids. It's close to probably NC-17 in some way, shape, and form. That's a brutal show.
Yeah.
But good show. So that's Castlevania Season 4. They've already said that this is going to wrap up Castlevania. So, but I hope that whatever studio works on that, because the animation's great, the voice acting's great, the story that they've created is great. So I hope they're moving on to something else, like in a similar vein, whether that's video games or something else, or a video game story, I should say. They need to do something because.
Contra next, I think.
Sure. Kayla, once Season 4 finishes, we should just watch the whole thing. I know you don't like watching it unless you can power through the whole season or the whole series. So
Oh, you haven't watched any of it, Kayla?
Not.
Ooh, you'll like it. You'll like it. Highly recommend.
The next day, on the 14th, we get Spiral, which I guess is a kind of a direct sequel to the Saw movies. There's been, God, I don't know, 8 or something Saw movies at this point. So many, just so many.
The spiral of them.
Sure.
There's so many.
I fell off of the Saw movies real early on. I saw maybe the first 3 of them, maybe. And they just kept going.
2 for me.
Yeah, it might have been 2. I don't know. How many of them have you seen, Kayla? You've seen a couple, right?
They're not different enough to remember.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3.
Right. This one, the interesting thing about this one is it's starring Chris Rock, which we really haven't gotten, I feel, enough Chris Rock in the world lately.
He's pretty much just in Fargo, right?
Yeah. And he apparently pushed pretty hard. Like, he got this, pushed out. It's his kind of baby a little bit, and that's interesting. Like, if they can do a new take on it and get away, I don't know if it's just going to be more like torture porn, then no thanks. But if it goes back to that, like, that original one is just a pretty cool, like, psychological horror thriller,
Super influential movie, pretty much for horror.
Yeah, and it's more of a detective. I mean, you followed like Danny Glover trying to track down the killer and everything, as opposed to just like, oh, people in a death maze, which all the other ones are just that. Just like how can we rip off people's fingernails or whatever in different ways. So hopefully they're going back to that. Hopefully that's why Chris Rock, is throwing his weight behind it. Any hope from you guys on this being something special?
Maybe. When this first came out, the trailer like a year and a half ago or something like that, I was pretty excited about it. I've since then watched Fargo season 4, and Chris Rock's probably the weakest part of it. He's just kind of being Chris Rock. So I don't know. I hope he can show his chops. Samuel Jackson is supposed to be in this as well, who is kind of absent from all the trailers.
A little bit. I saw him in a cop uniform.
Okay.
He's a cop, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if it was like one of those, he's gonna be the villain, but you weren't supposed to know he was in this movie.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think he's shown nearly as much as you would think as Samuel Jackson would be in any trailer, really.
I don't have much interest. I mean, if you said this is what you wanted to watch it that night or whatever movie night it was, I'd watch it, but I wouldn't like pick it myself.
Yeah.
There's a couple of on here that I give the same like we'll probably watch this at some point. Kind of thing.
Yeah, and the 14th actually kind of, I think, might be that day. It's interesting. There's a ton of stuff right on the 14th. One thing that I'm super excited about, and then, between Spiral, we have The Woman in the Window, a Netflix movie, and Those Who Wish Me Dead, which is going to be in theaters and HBO Max, all hitting on the 14th. All kind of look to be psychological thriller-esque. Spiral might be more straight horror potentially, but The Woman in the Window, just checked out the trailer before the podcast. Kind of interesting. The cast is really strong. I mean, you've got, so the lead is Amy Adams, and it looks like Julianne Moore is going to be, play a big part. Gary Oldman. Our boy Wyatt Russell looks to play a big part. Anthony Mackie's in the cast, but absent from the trailer. So
similar to Spiral.
Interesting on that one. And Tyler Perry as well. So who's could be a charming dude. It's from I think the producers of Gone Girl. So there's that Tyler Perry connection, I believe.
I rewatched that recently, and Tyler Perry.
He really is. Yeah. So maybe he's a similar character. He seems to be like a detective maybe in this. But the story seems to be Amy Adams is a shut-in. She's agoraphobic. She cannot leave. She's so bad that she seems to be taking some kind of maybe antipsychotics or something like that. She's
Takes multiple medications, it seems.
right. She strikes up what seems to be like her only friendship with Julianne Moore, who's her neighbor. And then you get a very like Rear Window Disturbia type thing where she witnesses a what she thinks is the murder of Julianne Moore. But it seems like it's going to be one of those unreliable narrator type situations where did she see it? Did she not? Seems like Gary Oldman may be the murderer, or who she thinks is the murderer. So they're going to go toe to toe, and it seems like it's going to be a lot of. There was a lot of just really interesting, psychedelic-esque, what could be hallucinations, I guess, in the trailer. So pretty interesting. I mean, the cast is just dynamite.
Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh in there. She's kind of like the doppelganger or whatever for Julianne Moore, so she can get some single white female vibes going on in there. She's perfect for that kind of thing. So looks good. I want to see this.
What do you think of it, Kayla?
Yeah, it looks good. I want to see it.
Yeah, that's on. So that's real nice. Just easy. Whatever the 14th is. Easy Friday night or something.
Friday, yeah.
Those Who Wish Me Dead, HBO Max and in theaters, same day on the 14th. This is starring Angelina Jolie. Haven't seen her in much lately, so kind of interesting. Coming back into prominence. It looks like a pretty good role for her. I mean, she's known for being kind of a real physical actor, a lot of action movies earlier in her career, definitely. But so it's kind of a mix of. Me and Nelson both love the game Firewatch. Super Firewatch vibes of this. I mean, she's stuck in a Firewatch tower at points, in the trailer. But also Witness. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Witness with Harrison Ford.
I haven't.
It's a pretty cool movie. Check it out. It's a mid-'80s Harrison Ford movie. He's like a detective who has to watch a little boy who witnessed a murder and like in like Amish country and stuff. So similar situation. Yeah. But another really cool, interesting looking cast too. Yeah, John Bernthal, Aidan Gillen. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Littlefinger from Game of Thrones fame seems to be like an assassin. So it looks like this kid has witnessed some interesting stuff, and he's got some assassins on his tail. And
like Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult as well.
Right.
And Angelina Jolie has to use her survival skills to get him through a forest that's on fire, essentially, and also while dealing with assassins. So it seems to be kind of a high premise, a pretty like big action premise, but maybe grounded as well. It's at least from the trailer, it seems like it's a lot of just them sneaking around and using the forest to their advantage, that type of stuff.
Yeah, watching the trailers gave me like 90s, like Dante's Peak volcano vibes, something like that, like where there's big natural disaster happening and you got to deal with a bunch of other stuff going on too. So this looks cool. I would check this out. Definitely on HBO.
Right. I like that.
Big year for Angie. She's going to be in Eternals later this year as well. So
True. Yeah.
Good to see you back.
Yeah, we don't get enough movies like this anymore, honestly. Just like pretty straight up action thriller type movies.
Wrath of Man.
Yeah, I guess Wrath of Man is another example. So May's going to be a good month for those type of movies where it's just it's not an IP movie. It's not Oscar bait by any means, but still has like bankable stars in it. Interesting actors. It's not just something that Netflix throws out with a bunch of unknowns. It's a bunch of knowns. So yeah, that's Those Who Wish Me Dead, The Woman in the Window, and Spiral, all on the 14th of May. Also on the 14th of May, we've got Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming to all platforms as well. This is basically from the ground up remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it. More of a remaster, right, of the Mass Effect trilogy. Because they're not necessarily changing the story or anything like that, but they are, doing a lot to the visuals and the controls as well. So I've never played any of the Mass Effect games. I'm really excited for this to come out and experience it for the first time. You're a big fan though, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. I haven't put that much thought into it, but if I was going to say like, what's the best trilogy ever? It's in the mix. It's just really good. It's really awesome. Yeah, I think you guys both will really enjoy it. Really interested to see what they do to that first one, because it is a lot different than 2 and 3. But visually, what I've seen is like really impressive. What they've done with 1 so far. So, what do you guys think you're gonna do? Male shepherd, female shepherd on your
I don't know,
playthroughs?
Kayla.
Because these games are great. Because your every decision you make throughout all of these games continues on to the second and to the third, and it's really important, and it makes you feel like you built your own character and your own world kind of thing as you go. So
I think
but yeah,
no. I think this one will be actually you, Kayla. I'd like you to play this one. So what do you think?
Probably pick a girl. Probably pick the female.
FemShep is known as the way to go. Jennifer Hale is the voice of FemShep, and she's supposed to do a phenomenal job. I did a male shepherd and still loved it. So.
We saw Jennifer Hale at C2E2 when we all went. Yeah.
Yep,
she was pretty cool, pretty charming.
Yeah.
We played as the female Morgan in Prey recently, and I don't know if that was the right choice or not, but female Morgan was real cool. So I think female Shepherd might be the way to go too. Another space odyssey. They're pretty long, right? The Mass Effect games, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would love to be able to dive back into these games, but that's such a commitment. I don't think I can honestly do it.
Luckily, Resident Evil Village probably won't be too long because
yeah, I've heard that's like between like 10 and 15 hours or something, and that sounds cool with me. So.
Yeah, we need more 10 to 15 hour games, honestly. That's ideal. Yeah, because we're probably gonna play them back to back, go right from Village to Mass Effect. So a lot of fun there. So that is.
And I'm excited to check in with you guys on that one. I want to find out, who's your favorite characters and stuff like that. It's a great cast of characters in that. The best cast in any game, I would say.
Yeah, I'm hoping I don't because of the daunting nature of it, I hope I don't fall off, or hope we don't fall off in this case.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. You'll push it through.
There's so much that you don't have to kind of do, like in those. So I think you'll be fine. I think you'll find a nice balance and not feel overwhelmed.
Nice. Well, that's Mass Effect Legendary Edition on May 14th. So May 14th is one hell of a day for everything Machina Nonsense. Going forward another week, we've got 2 things coming out on May 21st. Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead on Netflix. This is a zombie movie set in Las Vegas. It's a zombie heist movie. So 2 genres I'm real into, starring Batista. Dave Batista, I think he goes by now.
Yeah.
What did you think of what did you think of the trailer?
It looks cool. I think it's a fun twist. Isn't it like, I guess this virus or whatever has been going on so long that they've evolved? I guess the zombies or something.
Yeah.
Like they unionized,
I think
tribalized.
I think
don't
you're
know.
right. Yeah, I think it's been going on so long that like we've figured it out. We've trapped them in like Las Vegas. It's like a walled city and stuff, but they've had time to unionize, as you said. Yeah, I think they the zombie union.
They have demands.
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
go on
Hey,
strike.
collective bargaining. I mean, it's we need more of it. What did you think of the trailer, Kayla?
I'll check it out. It looks wild. It looks weird. It looks interesting. It looks fun. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Who else was in that besides Mr. Dave
So
Bautista?
I learned an interesting tidbit. Tig Notaro is the comedian.
Yeah, sure.
She's in it, but they completely, and I wish I remembered the circumstances, but someone was in the movie and they had to digitally completely remove them and put Tig Notaro in there, so like all of her scenes are acted to nothing. Like she just like they kind of green screened her in there. So I'm really interested to see how that works or doesn't work. I like Tig Notaro a lot as a like a stand-up comedian. I don't know.
She was good in Instant Family.
Oh, Instant Family. Yeah, I remember that one. That was good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's like the
co-lead, like, at the adoption
Yeah,
agency.
yeah.
Her and Octavia Spencer,
I
Right.
get the
two that run it.
word. They see over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a social worker, a caseworker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I
looks
don't really
like just a fun.
recognize anybody's name on there.
Oh, so we have Hiroyuki Sanada, our
I
Scorpion,
couldn't say.
is also in
Oh,
it.
cool. Okay.
Yeah. The rest of the cast, not really familiar with their work, any of these names, but I'm there to. I think Batista has some cool energy. I like him he's done a lot of these interesting action roles. He's been in a Bond movie.
He's great as Drax.
Blade
He's
Runner,
one of
yeah.
my favorite parts
Yeah, Blade
of
Runner.
the Guardians.
Yeah, I think he's got chops. I think
He's excellent. Yeah. I didn't see that one he did with Kumail Nanjiani, that like buddy cop
We did.
movie. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
we
good?
checked it out. It was pretty. Yeah, it was decent. It was like the perfect movie to just be on in Netflix or Hulu or whatever we watched it on. Like sitting.
That's what that seems like to me.
Yeah.
This
I enjoy movies like that. I need movies that aren't super involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I watched Michael Clayton last night, and that's the complete opposite.
Oh boy. Michael Clayton.
Yeah, that's a movie where you gotta give it your attention. But this seems like the opposite of that. Fun.
I get Michael Clayton and Syriana always just like melded
they were on
together.
the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clayton's good though. He's good.
Yeah, I remember good dialogue. That one having some good talkies.
Yeah.
Also on May 21st, we've got something real cool. I think this has some real potential. MODOK, Marvel's MODOK on Hulu. It's done in like so Patton Oswalt is playing the title MODOK, and it looks to be like a hyper violent kind of rated R comedy, but like stop motion animation or claymation. What would you call it? I mean, little action figures, Funko Pop animation. I don't know, like.
Yeah, it's got kind of like a Robot Chicken-y type look to it, right?
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah. It's got a lot of Robot Chicken vibes, I guess. But
trailer looks awesome. I'm excited to watch this. Patton Oswalt's hilarious. He's great. So I'd like that they're letting some of these smaller things be like some R-rated or adult content. Looks awesome. You guys know what MODOK stands for?
Well, he says it in the trailer, Mike. So yeah, we do.
Well, never mind then.
You can tell us.
The question is, do you remember what he said in the trailer, Eric? and I do not.
Okay. Mental organism designed only for killing. So,
Yeah.
MODOK's weird. He's just like a very large head with floating with like arms and legs coming out of
Yeah,
said
it
head.
looks weird. I don't know if it'll be my thing.
Ooh, it's totally mine. Can't wait.
MODOK's getting a lot of play lately. He's also in the Marvel's Avengers video game that everyone hated, but he's like the main bad
He's
guy,
like
I think.
the bad guy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cool.
kind of not a character that I'm familiar with at all. I think in leading up to the Avengers game, like in the trailers and stuff, that when they were doing all that, that might have been the first time that I ever heard of MODOK. But
He was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He was a boss in one of those and those Marvel beat 'em ups. There was the name is failing me, but that's how I was introduced to him. But they throw every kind of bad guy in those. So.
But yeah, it looks like it's a show about a supervillain having a divorce. So done in like stop motion robot chicken type animation. So I'm pretty interested to see, and with the full blessing of Marvel. Apparently, it's on Hulu. Owned by Disney. So good on them.
Yeah,
good on them.
It reminded me of that Adam Driver Star Wars sketch where he's like what was it, undercover boss kind of thing, like that kind of.
I love that.
Yeah, it seemed similar to that in a way.
What's his name?
Yeah, he's like the radar technician, right? Yeah.
I love when I see people dressed up like him at C2E2.
Yeah. Man, C2E2. Remember that? That's coming up.
I do.
It's coming up, man.
Do.
This winter. Yeah, they're doing December, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
So,
I would love to go to that again.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see some MODOKs.
Yeah, right. We probably did. And just...
yeah, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known what a MODOK was. So that's May 21st. May 25th. Biomutant, super anticipated, long time anticipated game. I was telling Mike that I had this on. I've been a GameFly subscriber for a long time, and I put Biomutant on it probably 2 years ago, and since have canceled my GameFly subscription and everything, just assuming Biomutant would never come out. And I think about 2 weeks ago we finally got a hard and fast date, May 25th.
Yeah, Ryan posted that release trailer like a couple weeks ago, and I watched that and I just grinned the whole time. This thing looks so awesome. It looks beautiful. It looks like Breath of the Wild mixed with like Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, and mixed with like these like there's like a weird hand vehicle, like there's like Tim Burton mixed into it in a way. It looks really awesome.
Yeah, it gave me some like we recently played, or Kayla recently played Ratchet and Clank. It kind of gave me some vibes of Ratchet and Clank, just like the colorful nature and the big destructible kind of areas it looked like and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're just like in a world of like weird mutated animals type stuff, and it seems like you're constantly upgrading your way of traversal. You're always changing, like you're either got these weird like bat glider wings, or you got like a weird helicopter backpack to help you get around. You're constantly like modifying your own character, who's like a weird cat creature, the biomutant, I guess. Looks awesome. I'm playing this day one.
Yeah, it seems like a nice follow-up for you, Kayla, for Ratchet and Clank. I mean,
Yeah,
I
want to play
really dug that one.
Oh, cool. I didn't think you guys were into it. Awesome.
I'm hit or miss on that type of like genre, but I thought Ratchet and Clank was really cool. And if this has the trailer doesn't give off much of a vibe for like humor or anything like that. I like when you're in a colorful world like that, or a weird, bizarre world, to have like some humor as well. So hopefully, if it has that, has some good dialogue and stuff, that's kind of it, because it looks beautiful. It looks super cool. The modifications of your body and stuff look really cool. So Biomutant, May 25th. Then we're on to the end of the month. We got a couple things, couple kind of weird competing things. On the 28th of May, we've got Cruella, which we've discussed on the pod a little bit. We're all a little,
I want to watch it.
Oh, we'll see it. I mean, if anyone can elevate that character or non-character, if you will, like, it's going to be Emma Stone, right? Like,
this is behind the paywall. This is the $30 paywall, right?
Yeah, Premier Access on Disney Plus or theaters.
Yeah,
we'll see. About $30 to go to a theater nowadays. And finally safe soon with the vaccine and everything else. But Cruella on the 28th, but also on the 28th, kind of pushed back. Quiet Place 2, the sequel to A Quiet Place. John Krasinski's baby. We all loved the first one, right? I think we're kind of
yeah.
Until the final 5 minutes.
Ah, okay. The fact that
becomes a different movie.
The fact that there's going to be a sequel, kind of like that kind of thing.
No, just the whole like turn of the like she becomes like this badass at the end. Like it's the whole movie shifts from horror movie to like a weird action movie at that point. It turned me off in the theater. But other than that, I think the idea of it and the world that they build was really cool, really effective in that first one.
Your boy Cillian Murphy, Kayla.
I'm really excited. I actually just read something about The Quiet Place that I thought was a fun fact. When they go into the convenience store, the grocery store, whatever, the shelves are mainly empty except for like all the chips, because like you can't eat
loud,
chips are noisy, right?
Oh yeah.
Interesting little a blurb that I like. I like little details like that.
Yeah, I wonder. This one definitely seems to be set out. Well, they're no longer at like their farm. It seems they're out in the world for whatever reason. They've left their farm. So I wonder if we'll get more tidbits like that, like what the world is like or was like.
Oh, definitely, right? I think that's the whole reason to make a sequel. I would hope is just to build on that.
Right. I'm excited for it.
Hope it's as good as that first one. I don't know. Maybe because it was such a surprise. It was kind of the fresh air kind of thing. I hope they can continue on. And John won't be in this one. Spoilers. So we'll see. He was really good in that first one.
He was, but I think even the kids. I mean, I'm not usually I'm wishy-washy on child actors, but I feel like they did a good, and they're gonna be more, I think, center stage in this one, even more than the first, probably, because Dad's not there anymore.
Yeah, the boy was in Honey Boy with Shia LaBeouf. He's got chops, man. That kid can act. He's
interesting.
Let him cook some more. Quiet Place.
Nice. Yeah. That's gonna be I don't know. I'm gonna be there for it no matter what. I love that first one, and I want to see more of that world. And despite my wife's love for him, I also like Cillian Murphy as well. So yeah, cool dude. So Quiet Place 2 on May 28th. Button right up with Cruella. So we started off by saying May is a hell of a month. Yeah, stacked with stuff. I had to take so much off, honestly. Of this list, there was some other interesting things, but I feel like that these were the big ones, the definites. What's number one for each of you guys?
Out of the whole list, pick one.
Yeah. What if everything else wasn't happening in May?
Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's probably Resident Evil for me, but Castlevania and MODOK are right behind it. I think both of those look excellent. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I think A Quiet Place, honestly. I remember I was
cool.
super pumped. I think the fact that like it was supposed to come out right when everything exploded, like right when theaters were closing and everything else, I was really hoping they'd push it to some kind of streaming service or something. And I think that anticipation is really like building for me. And then yeah, Resident Evil's probably number 2 for me. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I've never been disappointed in a mainline Resident Evil. 6, I guess I was. Yeah, 6. But even that was fun to play like with someone. The co-op aspect was still, it was playable.
Yeah, it's not super long either.
Right?
So
yeah,
it's just
a
okay.
easy game to just play through with a buddy. But take 6 away, and I've got fucking 7 wonderful games, and even some of the offshoot games I've enjoyed. So they've done it for me. Like I don't think about the Resident Evil series often, but when another one comes out, I've always enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good, real good.
So we'll see what Ethan Winters and Chris Redfield and everyone else is up to.
A tall lady.
Yeah, big old tall lady, big fingers. She got big old hands. Big feet. They released her shoe size. I don't remember it. But
it's real big.
Yeah, it's real big.
Bigger than Shaq's.
Oh boy! Wow. I hope there's a basketball suit.
Not as big as Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant had like a size 54 or
Jesus.
something.
Oh my god.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
That dude drank like 50 beers one time or something. Like I read an article that he just like.
Yeah, he had to drink like a whole keg in order to just get a buzz or something. So.
Gosh. Well, hopefully we'll see Princess Bride 2 featuring Lady Dimitrescu.
Nice try. He almost...
the Dimzel Dimmadome, I think is what her name is.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right.
So let's wrap up. We've talked to you enough. Episode 26 of the Machine of Nonsense. I wanted to announce a couple things, just some Machine of Nonsense news. We established a fan page on Facebook. So there's an official fan page. It's a group. It's a Facebook group. So if you're listening to this, you've probably already joined our fan group. Wonderful. Thank you for doing that. We want to create a place where people who maybe don't even listen to this podcast, a lot of you, aren't into podcasting or only listen to us every once in a while, whatever. But maybe you want to talk about the things we're into, movies, video games, TV shows, that kind of stuff. Talk to us on our fan page. So just search the Machine of Nonsense. It'll come up. It's called Monstars, the official fan page of the Machine of Nonsense. Real long title. I'm sorry. Had to be descriptive. But join us. We had a nice Resident Evil 7 talk today, our first day of the page. So, if you're working on anything you want to promote, throw it on there. We'll take a look. So we want to get people talking, and I think that's a good way. Check it out. Tell your friends, please. Maybe you've got some friends that are podcast fans or just fans of, literally anything, literally movies, video games, TV shows. Tell your friends, invite them, and let's have a fun conversation. So that's our fan group for the Machine of Nonsense. This has been episode 26 of the Machine of Nonsense. I'm your host, Eric. As always, I thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're not already. Tell a friend, tell them about our Facebook page or our Facebook group. Leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/Machine of Nonsense, and we will put your voice on this pod. Nelson did it. It was super easy. We heard his voice. but I guess we always hear his voice. Anyway, we're wrapping up.
Sorry.
We're saying goodbye on episode 26. It's been a blast. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Giant bomb forever.